Before wasting your time, we are going to share top 5 best bike lock. Number 5 on the list is Kryptonite New U Evolution Mini 7. With a dual locking hardened 13mm shackle, an included cable, and a free year of anti-theft protection, the Kryptonite New U Evolution Mini 7 is a good deterrent at a reasonable price. The Kryptonite New U Evolution Mini 7 should withstand attacks from everything but power tools under most circumstances. Once our testing began, we immediately saw the huge advantage this lock had over the competition. Its 13mm hardened shackle, the big U-shaped loop that gives U-locks their name, can withstand bolt cutters, eliminating a large percentage of potential thieves. Measuring 7 inches long and weighing a little under 3 pounds, it's the perfect size for most people, long enough to lock the wheel and frame of most bicycles to a rack, while leaving almost no room for someone to wedge a pry bar or a car jack inside it. On top of that, the shackle in this design has an additional cutout at the end, which makes rotating, and therefore removing, it after cutting it even more difficult. The new U Evolution Mini 7 uses a disc detainer locking mechanism, which is much harder to pick than a typical wafer lock and should foil all but the most savvy criminal using specialty tools. It also comes with a 4-foot cable to secure the front wheel, plus a free year of Kryptonite's anti-theft protection. 2 caveats on the latter: you must register your lock within 30 days of buying it, and the anti-theft protection on this lock does not apply to residents of Manhattan, where theft is very high. The company's New York lock series, including our upgrade pick and the chain pick below, is covered even in Manhattan. 3mm hardened max performance steel shackle resists hand tools, bolt cutters, and leverage attacks. 10mm steel looped cable for additional security. Anti-theft protection offer up to $2,500 reimbursement, includes flex from U bracket, providing convenient multi-location U-lock transport. Number 4 on the list is a Bordo Granit Plus 6500. The promise of a smart lock is never needing to think about keys or combinations. Naysayers will always point out that it's possible to hack the electronics, but that's akin to picking a lock. Possible but unlikely given how specialized a skill it is and how much easier other options are. The real challenge with smart locks is that they add price and complexity, so if you are going to introduce smarts to a lock, it should solve a problem. The Bordo 6500 A Smart X takes the standard Bordo lock, already one of the best folding bike locks on the market, and adds an alarm. You gain the ease of use that comes along with not dealing with keys or combos, but you also gain extra security. That kind of problem solving is exactly what smart design brings to the table when implemented in a considered way. It's 5mm steel bars made of special hardened steel. Its soft touch coating on the bars and matching silicone lock body cover protects bike's paint job. TWO keys supplied with the lock, 1 LED Latitibus code card for ordering additional or replacement keys. Compact, versatile folding technology offers greater range of locking options. Number 3 on the list is Kryptonite Keeper 785. Despite the claims in the video produced by the shop selling this chain, it should come as no surprise to anyone that has used our rigorous testing to choose the best quality motorcycle security that the Kryptonite Keeper 785 7mm chain is the weakest we've ever tested. A single sledgehammer blow shattered the chain easily, though this is a very unlikely attack. Keep the chain off the ground, and it's easily defeated, plus simply locking in such a way that access is restricted will limit the chances of this occurring. Using our standard 42-bolt croppers, the chain was also very easy to cut in one bite. This is normal on chains of around 12mm and thinner, though at that thickness it takes a lot more work. As for the angle grinder, I too use a mains grinder for consistency in testing, though having benchmarked it against a battery grinder, I know there's little to no difference in cutting times. And that was before the new 54V battery grinders were released. It took me 5 seconds to cut the Kryptonite Keeper 785. The Keeper's lock is fixed to the chain. Given the speed with which the chain can be defeated, there's no point in attacking the lock. Picking will be achieved using specialist tools and plenty of skill, but it's irrelevant in real motorcycle theft. I don't usually publish angle grinder times as the low numbers can make some people believe that it's not worth bothering. But that's not true, even 5 seconds of sparks and noise can attract a lot of attention. And remember, I'm working under ideal, controlled conditions for repeatability. In the field, it wouldn't surprise me to see a thief take up to 10 seconds to cut this chain with a grinder. Though that's still 4 minutes less than it apparently takes a professional Canadian thief. Maybe that's why their theft figures are so much lower than the UK's. The Kryptonite Keeper 785 is better than nothing. It's also very cheap. While I really would try to deter anyone from using it as home security, for general out and about use, it's okay. Pair it up with a disc lock on the other wheel, and your bike's going to be more hassle to steal than the one next to it that doesn't have anything. The biggest advantage of chain. Number 2 on the list is OnGuard 8003 Pitbull STDU lock. This isn't the most secure on this list. It's also not the least expensive or the most. The OnGuard Pitbull is the all-around kind of lock you can feel good using day in, day out. A 14mm hardened steel shackle is thick enough that bolt cutters are going to be ineffective, and it locks on both sides, requiring 2 cuts to break it free. It will fall to an angle grinder, but not without making a lot of noise first. The generous 5 keys included mean you can be less stressed with a lost key, and the light on one key is a nice touch at this price level. The suggested version here is the standard version, and there's enough room inside for the frame and a wheel. There are other versions of the same lock with different sizes, but this makes for a secure and easy-to-use everyday lock. The superior protection of our X4P locking mechanism also present. Snap lock quick release multi-position mounting bracket. 5 laser cut keys, 1 micro light and 4 extra grip keys. Micro light key projects a bright white beam. Number 1 on the list is Kryptonite New York Forget About It Mini. Bicycles are tempting targets for any thief. They're easy to ride away on, easy to sell, and often have a very high value. In fact, insurer Quadazin estimates there were 64,500 bikes stolen last year as the UK emerged out of lockdown and the fuel price rises began to bite. But how do you stop a determined thief pedaling away with your pride and joy? Well, it doesn't take a genius to work out that a decent lock is probably the best place to start. Enter Kryptonite's New York Forget About It Mini. It might just be the ideal choice if you need one you can take on your travels, and it comes with up to £3,000 of theft protection cover to boot. Kryptonite is a US brand that has been making bike locks since 1972, when the brains behind the company used an early U-lock design to secure a bike to a signpost. It was a publicity masterstroke. All the removable bits of the bike such as the wheels and saddle were soon stripped, but the frame stayed locked there for 30 days and bike security was changed forever. Pick it up, and the first thing you notice about this rugged U-lock is its weight. Our test example tipped the scales at 2.04 kilograms. You really wouldn't want to go much heavier in a lock you'll be carrying on the daily commute or around town. Having said that, go much lighter and thieves will have a much better chance of defeating it as lighter locks tend to have thinner shackles and flimsy mechanisms. Wasp-like black and yellow colors should help deter thieves too. Facing a bike rack full of potential targets, the New York Mini should really stand out, and given its reputation, any clued-up crook will be more likely to turn their attention to softer targets first. New York Forget About It Mini has been, for years, the standard in high-security U-lock options. It manages to be as secure as it is with no special tricks other than a big 18mm hardened steel shackle. Unlike the D1000, cutting it with an angle grinder will only take a minute or two per cut. What makes it worth considering is that it costs less than half the price and still brings a considerable amount of security. Much of the time you only have to secure your bike better than anyone else. The New York Forget About It Mini is probably more than enough security in most situations, and you could even double them up when called for.